I'm live with the on the channel. It's
Okay.
just that um, I I don't know if people will be able to join this. Ah, this is so weird. No.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
Yeah, because it has now started as a separate stream altogether.
Yeah.
Oh, I see Advait said hi. Um, let's see if more people only. Okay, stop this live stream. Learner Indian is saying stop this live stream. Uh, let's see. I do not see any more people. There are only 5 concurrent viewers, and I do not know how they are coming to this one.
Mm.
This is so weird though. Okay, are people able to hear us? Can someone just confirm if you are able to hear us properly? Because there's been some technical difficult. Okay, 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 cool. Thank you, Chetan. So the issue is that the live stream original link, it for some reason is not working. Um, I was hoping that we will just get started on that live stream, which was made initially public. So if you have anyone who wanted to join and you ask them to join, please send them to this link and ask them to join this one instead, because the other link for some reason does not automatically work. All right, cool. So I see 12 viewers. Devpriya, let me know whenever you want to get started.
Yeah, let's do it. Just sending the link to the people I had shared with earlier.
I mean, if
Okay.
yeah,
Then done. Let's go.
this is the reason why people should subscribe to the channel so that they get notified.
That's
Um,
true. That's very true.
hit the bell icon. Anyway, enough of promotion on the channel. Let's get started. So, first of all, welcome everyone, whoever has joined. This is the second live stream on the channel. My name is Abhinav. The first live stream that I did was with a friend of mine, Chinmay, on business analytics at University of Texas in Dallas, and for me, it was quite engaging. So this time it's Devpriya who's joined us all the way from New York, which is like a 6 hour flight for me. And the time zone difference is also there. So she has agreed to take out time on a Sunday morning. So thank you so much, Devpriya, for that. A little
Thank you.
bit about how I actually got to know Dev Priya. It's a funny story, an unusual one. So, if you register for online Masters of Science in Computer Science at Georgia Tech, and if you register for the course called Machine Learning for Trading, Dev Priya is actually or was actually a TA for that course. So when the videos start, Dev Priya is the first person that shows up talking to you about machine learning and how it can be used in trading. So we are going to be talking a little bit about OMSCS, or the Online Masters Program in Computer Science. But before we get started with the total conversation, today we have a different setup. We have slides which will sort of have the topic that we are discussing, so that anyone who joins in late, they are able to understand what topic is going on. So please keep your questions going in the chat and also provide feedback if there are any issues. And I'm so sorry for the technical mess that happened at the beginning. With that, let's welcome Devpriya. Devpriya, please introduce yourself to the viewers.
Sure. First of all, thank you, Abhinav. I think it's always good to give back in any form. When I started my masters, I had help from my seniors, and if I can give back in any form, that help that's the best opportunity. So first of all, thank you. Starting with my introduction, I think Abhinav did a good job giving a preface of how he knows me. But currently, I am VP at Morgan Stanley. What that translates to is that I'm a full stack developer, but also have some hands on designing the system. So if you translate to product based companies like software engineering 2 3 level, and full stack development, doing Java, doing Angular, doing databases, and the application that I focus on helps the clients of Morgan Stanley to make sure their assets are in the right place and help them move the asset easily. That's a very short introduction of myself.
So, what's with the title vice president? Like, how does that play around with? Because you said that you are a full stack developer, but then
That's correct.
is that like a title that's usually something that banks do or investment banking sector does?
That's that's correct. That's correct. So even though all the financial firms are mostly tech first firms now, because without technology it's very difficult, but even the technology section of the financial companies still follow a similar hierarchy or promotion structure as the financial section of that firm, which means that you have an associate, which is as soon as you enter the firm just after your graduation, or technically 1 or 2 years of experience, you are an associate. And after associate, when you grow in your role, you lead a small team, you design small systems. You're still a developer.
Hmm.
That's taken. You're still a developer. You are still developing. The next promotion is a vice president, and then once you start designing multiple systems, and that's what we are looking at, around 7 to 8 years of experience, which means you're designing end-to-end systems, high availability, reliability, all those stuffs. You That's a level of ed, which is executive director, which means
Okay.
you have multiple teams under you, multiple programs under you. And then there's MD, which is like you have section of like entire team, Morgan Stanley team under you. So that's then MD.
Okay.
So that's how it is.
So the LinkedIn title is soon going to change, I'm guessing. But what does Dave Priya do outside of Morgan Stanley, outside of studying and working?
Yeah. Yeah. Outside of Morgan Stanley is I like to read books. So I have a Kindle, and I normally set a goal at start of the year to read n number of books, and I try to stick to that goal. So that is majorly what I do outside work. I wouldn't say I am like I'm a great cook or something, but I do cook for myself. So that's to take a good amount of time of my day, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
What's the most recent book that you read? I'm just asking for
um
my.
yeah, I read this book called Memory Police. It's like a dystopian novel. Compared to George Orwell's 1984, I did not like it much. It was not as dystopian as I was wanting it to be, but it's a good book. It's a
Wow.
good book.
Okay. I have no idea about this. I'm not a book reader myself. Well, thank you so much. I am hoping this will help out people to just understand how the roles go when you are in a, can I call it a fintech company now,
I wouldn't say a complete fintech. It's still a financial firm. Fintech would be something who would
like Robinhood?
like Robinhood, like Stripe. That would
Okay.
be something more like fintech.
Perfect. Cool. Let's get into your undergrad degree just to let our viewers know what you did in your undergrad. Not too much into detail, but a good
Yeah.
brief on what was your undergrad and where did you go college and
Yeah,
during your bachelor's? And while you are doing that, I'll quickly post the link to the correct live stream on Instagram so that people have it.
definitely. I have this while you do that. Okay. So I did my undergrad from Thakur College of Engineering and Technology, which is in accordance with Mumbai University. So when I apply to universities, it's mostly Mumbai universities, is what I say. And in terms of the coursework, it's very different. It's not project based coursework. Mumbai University is normally you have your 8 to 10 courses, and then you have theories, you have some practicals, but it's more focused on um, the theoretical part of it, which means that you have to write those long answers. So like 10 marks answer, 2 pages. Some people might relate to it. So it's,
I
it's,
can
it's
definitely relate to it.
yeah, so thanks, Abhinav. So yeah, it's pretty much that was the study pattern. But I did have some really good courses that I took, which also set me towards choosing the specialization in my masters. I had AI, and I had cloud computing, which were like electives we could choose from in our like second last semester. So that was really good. And I think just to summarize it, it definitely in any form of education during undergrad helps. So it does not matter what undergrad university you're coming from for your masters. Just you have to make sure that you have some good projects and some good like first class or distinction percentage in your finals, so that should be good enough.
Okay, let's see. So I guess the my idea is also to, at least take one question when we are done with talking about one particular topic. So we
Right.
already got our first one. It is so to get internship while doing masters, do we require experience as an undergrad? So I'm guessing it's about, do you need an internship sort of, or maybe after you're done with your undergrad, do you need experience to get an internship while doing masters?
Let me tell you my story. I had none. I had straight done education till masters. Does it? Let me start with. Does it help to have an experience before to to at least get to the opportunity? Yes.
Okay.
And once we go in forward to this stream, you will see there is a section called about career fair. We will touch there, and I'll go in detail over there of how having a prior experience help. But that will just get you an opportunity a little sooner than a person who might have not had any experience before. But you will get opportunity no matter whether you're here or here. It's just a matter of time. But once you get it, after that it's all completely at that moment how do you perform. So I would suggest do not stress much on it. If you get an opportunity to learn something, even if it's unpaid during your undergrad, do it. It just helps in getting
Building the
exposure,
portfolio.
portfolio exposure. You definitely will learn a thing or two.
Yeah.
But don't worry if you don't stress about it.
And I think so. This was a question from Shivakumar, and I guess Devpriya also mentioned in the beginning that it is always good to have some projects done, and that sort of helps. Which is why you said the undergrad college doesn't matter much, but what you did in your undergrad college with respect to projects, that
That's
matters more.
correct. That's correct.
Okay, thank you so much for that question. Please keep it coming. So, undergrad is done, everything cool, Thakur College of Engineering, you come out with flying colors and everything. Why MS? There are options like MTech, there is job. Why do you choose to do MS?
It was definitely at that time a personal choice. The opportunities that I could see that we had after our grad, the companies that came, it was not something that I was looking for in terms of I want to start my career with that. Um, and again, this is not about right or wrong, or this is better than that is better. It's all about pros and cons and how your situation lets you take the decision. I was at a situation where I could say that I want to do a master's immediately. Like I had that, I would say use the word privilege to take that risk and say that even after 4 years of undergrad, I still want to study more. I had my backing from dad, mom. I had good grades. I had good GRE score. So GRE was later, but I had that thing that I want to keep studying. I did research on MTech, MS. It was not that I wanted to do MS in US. In fact, it didn't even start with that thought. It was just researching. I did some research. Again, it was at that time, things might have changed. Also, it might be I didn't research enough. So MTech didn't entice me that much because I couldn't select the courses I wanted. It was like, if you're doing MTech with this specialization,
Hmm.
these are the courses you take. Um, MS, on the other hand, in most of the universities, did given opportunities of being electives and also the overall development. It just felt that would be a better option for me. So that's how it ended up being MS.
Okay. And job was not in the scene, you said, right? Like you were not looking for,
Yeah,
or
I
you, okay,
was.
cool. So you
Yeah,
already had
basically,
it.
I didn't want to. Yeah, so I didn't want to actually take that job that the companies that came. It was mostly Accenture, Infosys, which is good companies. Again, it depends on your situation. But I personally didn't
Yeah,
want to
sure.
join them immediately
Like it's personal choice, but at the same time, you already had this in mind that I want to go for an MS degree, and that's what you basically
further studies.
prepared
Yeah,
for throughout your
yeah,
undergrad as well. Cool. There is a question about like Karan is asking, sir, any scholarship for MS? So we will talk about Devpriya's admits, and just because I've seen some, or I know some information related to her admits, I know that she got scholarship from some college. So we'll talk about that quickly. Then Advait is also asking pretty similar question: what should we do to get scholarships? So let's actually move to the next slide. Let's talk about this. And I'm so sorry for the slide mess. I forgot to remove the other thing. Actually, let's do it. It doesn't look good, and this is going to stay. So, okay, cool. We are okay. So, test scores, Devpriya, your GRE was 319, TOEFL
that's correct.
108, and that B score is actually
Don't.
78%. I put up 77%, and when I pinged the FP asking, is this correct? She did not like it. She was, no, 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 it's 78%. Make it
Come
seven.
on, for one person you have to write 2 pages of paper more. Like it was the pain at that time. Now it feels just 1%. But anyways, jokes apart, it I didn't mean to say that. Put the right number, 77, 78. Basically, be a first class or distinction. You would be good to give the profile for universities. Yes, GRE I had 319, and I know Abhinav, you mentioned in the last slide that during my undergrad I was like thinking of masters and preparing for masters. That's actually it's not completely true. I did not think throughout when I started my undergrad. I was not thinking that much about what I wanted next. It was I was taking one day at a time at that during my undergrad. It was mostly in second and third semesters where just before when is the right time to give GRE or start studying for GRE is when I started thinking, oh, I have this option now. Now in this three options, what would be the best for me? So was it a plan from day one of my engineering? No.
No,
Did I develop uh, that liking to do more studies after I went through the current undergrad? Yes, definitely. So yes, GRE I started pretty late. People do start early. As soon as like first year of undergrad as well, but I started pretty late. And TOEFL was also, it's a decent score. I wouldn't say TOEFL is a great score. People get full in TOEFL. But I got really good score with GRE, and that helped me build the profile.
I do not know if my video is freezing. Is it?
It is. It is. It is.
Uh, okay, it's gone now. I've just
Yeah.
disappeared. It's just the desk.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Why would that happen? I do not know. Let me see. I guess my phone gave up. Okay,
Looks like the live stream god is not happy with us.
live stream God. Let me change it to my regular camera. It should work fine. Okay, am I
Oh, there
back?
you go.
Yeah, cool.
Yep, you're back.
But the picture quality is still okay, right?
Yeah, it's fair enough. Yeah,
Perfect. So, you said that the TOEFL score was not a great score according to you. What would you think
that's
is
correct.
a great score then? Just like 120?
Yeah, a full is what I would say, but no, that's too much to put pressure on. I would say anything 100, and I believe 110 above would have been a good score. So again, I don't know how far it's true, but people, what I've heard during my time was that based on your speaking score, it matters if you get an opportunity for TA out of the box. But when I was at Georgia Tech, I don't think that was ever a requirement in any TA job that tell me your TOEFL scores. It was more on when you get your opportunity presented and how you carve your way out to reach to that opportunity. So, yeah, so definitely get about 100, above 100, that would be really good. Above 110, even better. But you can see that with this score also you can get to Georgia Tech and other universities I got admits from.
Yeah, I mean, if you were talking about not getting TA because of your speaking score in TOEFL, then I would have not never gotten a TA position for sure because my TOEFL score was horrible. And GRE 319 is pretty good. I mean, I guess Georgia Tech, when I was applying for industrial engineering at Georgia Tech, I guess the average profile that I used to see was around 314, 315. But there's no hard requirement that you have to
That's
have
correct.
this, right?
That's correct. SOP plays a very big role. Scores are good, but I know that I have got rejects from universities where someone else who scored a couple of points lower than me in
Hmm.
GRE did get an admit over there. So don't take this like that, okay, I got 319, sure shot in this. No,
That's not going
there's
to
no
happen.
sure shot in masters. No.
So there's a, I do not know if that's their real name. Walden is asking, and this person is actually from SRCOEM, which is my undergrad college in Nagpur, Ramdev College of
Okay.
Engineering and Management, doesn't teach yoga. Um, I have a low GPA and a GRE of 321 and work experience of 4 years. I'm targeting California for my MS in CS. Will I get a good university? Your suggestions. I think you very just now you said about do not worry about your scores.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say, see, 321 is a really good score. So will anything above 320 or even reaching 320 is really good. Doesn't matter how you did in your undergrad. If you have some good projects and you write a really good SOP, make sure that when you write SOP, make it personalized to the universities that you want to, and we'll touch base on how to personalize it when we talk about how to reach to professors and all. But make sure that your SOPs are personalized to that university. Why that university is very important. It's not just a paperwork. SOP is actually taken into consideration. So write out your passion, and I'll tell you what exactly I wrote in my SOP at very high level. I actually wrote what got me interested into computer
Computer
science.
science.
It was literally just that if you write a bunch of English, it could do things that I just instructed it to do. That was really what made me happy when I first wrote my first code, which was a VB script ages ago. Um, So I just wrote that's how I got interested, and then I talked about why ML, what projects did I do, and how does that tie back to my passion of, like, you give an instruction in English and it just translates. So make sure to give your heart to SOP.
Yeah, I completely agree on that point because when I was doing my SOP for OMSCS, now OMSCS has a very high acceptance rate, so that's given. But at the same time, I did not have a lot of cool projects like the one that you described. But I think my passion showed, or my just fascination for the field showed up in what I wrote. And
Definitely.
I'm guessing that probably played a part in me getting an admit, or
It
otherwise they
does,
could have
100%.
been he's just applying for the sake of it. But really good point on making sure that you focus on your SOP and put your heart into it and actually show what your real purpose is, as the entire document wants you to. It's statement of purpose. Cool. So let's actually move on to the next one, and then we can take a few questions. So, this slide we put up to just share a little more about which universities Devpriya got accepted into and rejected from. And I guess, like, she probably chose the best of the lot. But what was your selection process, Devpriya? Why these universities?
Right. So it was a lot of criteria, and I'll tell you one very basic, important, funny criteria. Though for me, like, I didn't want to right away go to a snow place. So you'll see I know there's Penn State, there's NYU, there's Illinois, which is like a very much snowy
Hmm.
regions. For 6 months of the year, but that was a very very big criteria. I was trying not to get that as one of the one of the universities, because yeah, I was not sure how that weather would play out coming from Mumbai. So yeah, keeping that funny story aside, otherwise I guess it's normally suggested, and you will read that in any blog post or anywhere that you read about how to select universities, is like you divide into three sections, which is your ambitious section, then you divide into moderate, and then safe. Safe is, again, everything is based on past experience, like Abhinav briefly mentioned a few minutes ago, that he looked at profiles which were getting admits from previous year, and he said that Georgia Tech, the range was 315 around. So that's what, when you say that ambitious versus this. So ambitious for me was Georgia Tech was one of the ambitious university. I believe Penn State was another ambitious university for me, which means that 315, 319, pretty close. Not sure if it would be as you see, Georgia Tech I got an accept, but
Pens,
you like
UIUC.
Penn State I got a reject, and UIUC I got a reject. If you look at the rankings, absolute rankings in like the charts of this university, Georgia Tech computer science is a little higher than UIUC, but I still got a reject from UIC. So there's a lot of information out there, but make sure that you select the one that will be helpful to you. Reach out to seniors. Like, I know that you are here, it means you are already thinking ahead, and you are already in touch with a lot of people who are doing this. So reach out to seniors to see how they did their selection. So I did their selection based on this three categories. Another thing to note is that every university has application fees, which is around like $50 to $60.
Hmm.
So if you have really good GRE scores, you can make sure that you apply to select few, because $50 to $60 in today's time is also, no matter where your situation is, but it is a
A
good
lot of,
amount of
yep,
money to apply. And if you get rejected from like four of them, and if you're 60 into four, so those dollars are just
gone.
just not gonna come back. So yeah, so if you have good scores, definitely select the ambitious one, and write a great SOP, have a good LOR, and go for it. And if you have some mid scores, keep your safe list little higher, safe and
Moderate.
mediation moderate list a little large, so that you have good chance of coming in.
Um,
And again, I'll add one more point over here. Even though we say university matters, in the end it will all level out.
okay.
So it all depends from that point how you make the decision once you get into the university. um, just like it was for GRE, just like it was for undergrad. So yes, great school gives you great opportunities, but once you reach that opportunities, it's completely and that time how you perform to move ahead. So don't worry much if you don't get into the first five computer science ranked university. Does not matter.
But looking at your university selections, though, what would you classify from this list as your safe bets?
Oh, my safe was Stony Brook, NYU Poly, and I think UCSD was my safe, which I got a reject.
Yeah, so that's
So
that's that's the only exact point that I wanted to bring up, and I think you also quickly noted down that Georgia Tech was highly ranked compared to UIUC, but you still got an admit from Georgia Tech, but not from UIUC.
yeah,
Honestly, looking at the list that you have, I feel like you chose all the good universities. I do not know if any one of these were actually like they are all very nicely ranked and they are all quite reputed.
yeah,
So
yeah,
was it like a decision that you made that I will only go to these ones because they are highly ranked or they are good? I mean, rank is one thing, but from research perspective or opportunities, did you, because you could have applied to, let's say, a university where you had a sure shot chance that no matter what they are going to give me, and just because I want to go, like, doesn't matter where I'm
right,
going, I want to go.
right.
What was going on?
The other thing was salary as well, like every like salary and cost of living. So NYU Poly, like when we come to point of like, I actually got a scholarship, partial scholarship, not full scholarship, partial scholarship from NYU Poly, not from any other universities. Master's program do not hand out scholarship very easily in most of the ranked university, means Georgia
Hmm.
Tech, UIUC, Penn State, Purdue. You do not get scholarship for masters. PhD, yes, you're funded. The
Fully
reason
funded.
is that because you work with a professor has funding, national funding, federal funding, because to get that project successful, the funding pays for PhD students. So the scholarship is for is because you have that funding. So master student is directly going into the lot. So you do not some people do get like an NYU Poly I got based on my profile, but I have seen very rare case where you get scholarship in like Georgia Tech, UIUC for if you apply for masters right out of the back. Again, do not get disheartened. I just paid for my first semester, which means there is a way to get scholarship later. So
Let's talk about
stay tuned. Yeah, stay
let's
tuned to that.
let's talk about
Um,
how Devpriya then finally started paying off her fees.
yeah, we will definitely talk about it. So yeah, NYU Poly, I did get partial scholarship, but NYU New York is a very high living
Expense.
cost. Just expenses really high. You have to take public transport everywhere. That also adds to the expense. Also the universities were selected based on how the
Areas.
area, and also the total in general, the expense in fees as well. Like Georgia Tech, I believe was around $15,000 for semester including everything. So that was another point. And otherwise, I guess I was hoping I would at least get NCSU, which I did. That
Oh,
was my first admit, and I was so close to getting into NCS. I was like, I'm done, I'm going to NCSU.
okay. And
But
what was your scholarship amount? Did you say 15,000 per semester for NYU Poly?
no. That was, I guess, just 3 or 4 thousand, maybe.
Per semester, or just
I
like
guess
for
it
the
was.
end?
I don't remember.
That's fine.
It's
That's
been
fine.
7 years.
Um,
Yeah,
so there were, just because you started talking about scholarship, I guess there were questions. So Karan asked any scholarship for MS. So we said that it is possible, but not
but
all the universities
always, yeah,
are
yeah,
going to give. And you can also see how many people are starting to come in, and there's an influx of students coming in. So it's not possible to provide
yeah,
scholarship for everyone, but There are opportunities when you are on campus and you start talking and working with professors, and
Yeah, yeah.
Devpriya is going to
There's a way out.
talk about that. There was another one, which was, what is the process of securing an internship job in the US? Any tips? So we will talk about the internship and full-time search that you went through. Uh, there was a question around scholarships specifically. Okay, I think that was the one which Karan asked. So there are quite a few questions. If you want, I can go through them like one by one and see if it makes sense
Yeah,
to have
sure,
the discussion now.
sure,
So
sure.
Nisarg is asking, as the admission cycle has been somewhat disturbed due to COVID, is it good to take a year of WorkX and then go for MS and CS? So does 1.5 year work experience, 8 SEM intern plus 1 year job, which makes it 1.5, helps for good admits?
Yeah, so I know that here's how it helps. Let's talk about how those helps, right? It's not just that they don't have a checklist of things that okay, you have 1 year of job, check, you have this, check. It's not a checklist. It's about how this helps. When you write your SOP, you will be writing about how your current work experience in whichever company you're working with increased your passion for taking the subject that you're actually applying for that university to, right? So that's how work experience actually helps. And it also gives that you have like this year. It also helps when you're going for visa because you will have some savings. You can show this is my finance. It That's how in total it helps. And in terms of, yes, this, we are in a very unique situation right now, which has we have never seen in like past what decades now. Like I don't know about during flu what was the case, but yeah, I do what's do what's best right now for you individually. It's not one answer that fits all.
Hmm.
Um, if you if you are in a position to take a risk right now, to say that I want to study right off, definitely go for it. The reason is that if you are in that study enthusiasm and that momentum,
You
you
will.
will just go on. What happens once you join a job, and that's with me also, that right now I would want to go back to studying something or the other, but after your long work hours you would think that do I really want to, um, or do I want to relax? Completely fine. We are not in like a race, right? So it's again, if you can take a risk right now, go for it. And if you cannot, do not miss on opportunity. We have OMSCS like Abhinav is doing. Yep, yep. And also, yeah, you can wait for 1 year. I know a few friends who waited for not 1 but 3 years and are doing amazing right now. But then you have to keep that dream in mind. You have to know, you have to remind yourself that you have something greater things to achieve when you are working, so that you don't lose your focus.
Okay.
That
I hope, Nasarg, that helps. If not, please post again. Let us know if you want to discuss
Yeah.
something else. Shiv Kumar again asked, in India, we have computer science, which contain front end, back end, UI, UX, OS, DBMS. But in US for masters, is it difficult to choose particular course, good course for front end? So do you want to talk about it now, or let's go to your course selection and specializations?
I actually would want to understand that question more. I did not completely follow that question.
So I guess it's, in India, the computer science course is a mix of all
Right,
these things: OS,
right, right,
DBMS, UI, UX. Everything is
right,
in
right,
like baked in already. Do
right.
you have an option to select that, hey, I want to only focus on front end in the US when you come to the US? Like I think it's around electives and choosing your
Hmm.
specialization, probably.
Okay. When you say front end, it's a very, and we can talk about it later in course selection, but then we'll be talking about my course selection, so I want to
Sure,
answer this
go
right
ahead.
now. That when you talk about front end, it's there are two things you can talk about front end. Either you're talking about front end technologies, or you're talking about that in terms of how the application are designed so that they are so attractive. Or like for example, Abhinav would know how they keep people on YouTube so much, right?
I
Like
wish.
how the people just spend hours on YouTube. That's a specialization on how you develop an app, and that's true with Instagram, Facebook runs on the same thing. Like, how do they design something so that people are so hooked to it for
Hmm.
so long hours? And or if you are not doing like Facebook or any social networking site, then any other UI, if you develop ease of use, so that's a totally different study, and that is HCI.
It's yeah.
So you choose your specialization per what your interest is. What if you're asking in terms of the technology, the front end technology, master's program don't teach a particular coding language. They will not. They will teach the concepts for you to learn the core of why something is needed, and then you fit Python, you fit Java, you put Angular, you put you put anything that you want that would support to build that theory. So there's social computing, which is also around the same as to, like,
How to
how then there
engage.
is how to engage. So if you are trying to think in terms of that, I want to do just front end, think what is that you like in front end,
Okay.
and then choose your specialization.
Okay, a really good point about courses not teaching a particular technology, but it's very broad, and it's the
True.
concepts behind things. And because you mentioned HCI, I actually took HCI in OMSCS, and I can relate to that experience. Like
Yeah.
the course is all about how do you make the user experience so good, the
Yeah.
interaction so good that people
Yeah.
like using your interfaces. So
Yeah.
hopefully, Shiv, Kumar, that answers the question. Swapnil, in bachelor's, I had one backlog in second sem, which I covered in next sem. I have around 3 years of experience in ETL field. I am planning to give GRE in August, so I think this is probably more like a
Next
statement.
one.
Uh, Ritvik is getting nostalgia because you mentioned VB script. Oh, by the way, Swapnil asked, will that backlog affect my chances in getting good universities?
First of all, Swapnil, all the best for your GRE. I hope you do well, and give all your tests, all your mock tests. That's very important. Okay, coming to backlog, no, it won't affect much. Just make sure that you have things in on your profile that can shine more than that one backlog. It should be fine.
Yeah, I plus 100 to that comment. Backlogs are okay to have. And I think you get like F grades here also, and
Oh
you
yeah.
you can still get through the degree, which is
Oh yeah,
so totally
definitely.
fine.
You just take that course again and you get through it.
So, Swapnil, actually, a quick tip. If you can show how you overcame, like how you were able to actually tackle that backlog situation, that is a good story to tell, and how you really work through that
Yes.
in your statement of purpose. So, Advait has a question. I think we are on university selection for a very long time. Which universities provide co-op program in ML and AI? And I think he also pinged me on Instagram about this. Let me see. I think the question is around like how in India you have sandwich programs, right, where you can go out for a co-op program or a 1 year internship sort of a thing. Can you do that? And did you actually come across any of those universities that would allow you to do that?
Okay. First of all, I didn't know it's called sandwich program, so thanks, Abhinav.
I'm
Uh,
guessing so. I'm guessing so.
but anyways, okay, coming to the question. So yeah, so a co-op is there in all the universities. It depends on, you definitely have to talk to your graduate point of contact
Yeah,
to see. I know, like, when I was doing my masters, the electronic ECE is what we call electronic computing.
communication. Oh, computing.
Yeah,
Okay.
communication, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm bad with acronyms. So EC is like electronics. You're specializing and your everything is in electronics. They had a co-op program out of the box, which means they could choose co-op as one of their semester courses, and they could count the co-op months done as credits.
Ah,
Um,
yeah.
so it depends on university to university. Yes, some university have it. Georgia Tech, I don't think Georgia Tech,
No,
I'm not
I
sure
don't
actually. I don't think
think.
Georgia Tech had it for computer science. So yeah, if that's what your goal is, again, it depends on why would you want to do co-op for 6 months. If you, yeah, go ahead, Abhinav.
Experience. I think it's more around so that you can get some experience. while you're studying, so that when full time comes, you can
Okay.
use it.
Yeah, one thing that co-op definitely helps in like converting you from co-op to full-time. So if let's say you are in a good company for co-op and you do really well during that 6 months of co-op,
Convert.
they might offer you a full-time in the end. Then last semester you can take some courses, you can enjoy your master's program actually, because one big thing is done. So yeah, so if that's your goal completely, then yes, have make sure that you have selection of courses that way. I did not think about it before going or applying for masters, because that was not one of my goals. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
we'll
I
yeah.
guess then the answer is like, Advait, you probably have to look at the websites of the universities and try to reach out to the graduate advisor
You
who
could
can
email them.
help you with these
Yeah.
questions. The typical pattern is come to the school, get done with at least 2 semesters, go for internship, which does not count towards your credits, I believe, and then you again come back to the program. But I have heard stories about people going out for a 6 month internship and
Yeah,
like they have to do sort of
counts
a
for.
project which counts towards their credits.
Yes, that, yes, yes.
Anupriya asked how to get 320 in GRE
320 in GRE.
mock
I
tests.
would suggest focus on maths if possible, because that's the only place where you can score 100%. So that's secured. Other thing is words are something that I did not like it. Like you're memorizing the words and the meaning of it, but that's part of it. So I used to do, I think they are called boxes or like sections of from
Flashcards.
A to B,
Oh, okay.
flashcards, but yeah, like A to B, B to C, I think they are like you divide them in boxes. So yeah, you will have to, there's no option in verbal or like in the English section of the GRE. Try to focus on the prose, which means that you have to answer question from the paragraph,
Passages.
because you can develop a pattern for it. um, and one good thing or like a tip for remembering words is try to remember the root words, that this word is normally negative, because you can just sense from the question that if you don't remember the actual meaning of the words, you know that this root word is negative, the sentence is a negative, this is possibly the answer. Good thing there's no negative marking,
Marking.
so you can take chances. So don't leave any question, answer all of them. um, I I think that helps. Rest, it's also give a lot of mock
Mock
test
tests. Yeah,
base.
I
That's
I
very important.
am forgetting how the pattern was for GRE. I may have to go and check how the questions looked. So
Yeah.
there are some questions around Georgia Tech now, which is why I switched the slide. So out of all the universities, you got some admits, which were also good. Why did you choose Georgia Tech? Before that, I will ask a question that Piyush is asking. Georgia Tech is more towards research, so having good research publications can increase the possibility of admit. How would you suggest to portray the research in SOP? Also, it would be great if you could mention parameters that are considered for scholarship grant.
Okay. Uh, three parts question, right? So first is research. Georgia Tech is known for research, and that also ties back to one of the reason I chose Georgia Tech.
Good. Yes. Okay.
As yes, as I said that there were some courses in my undergrad which kind of paved my way towards masters and the subjects in masters. One of them was AI. Russell Nordvik was the book that we read at that time, and that was really nice. And yeah, research is a good place to be in. If you like that kind of, sit down, focus. You won't get like you write a code and you get an output. That's not research. You will have to read papers, you will have to understand what they're trying to say, and it's a totally different framework to work in versus an application developer. And I also want to add over here that I did at that time because I liked it. But right now I'm doing full stack application developer. So I'm not doing research. So again, it's just want to make it clear that at that this time, if you feel you want to go into research, take it, and then rest other steps you will figure out at as things come. So I wanted to add that. Um, Now coming back to, if you have some research, it helps. Yes, as I said, SOP is what will show your passion. If you have research, you can talk in lengths about it. You can give links to your publications if they are already done. And That's the best thing, because that's your own work, right from the hypothesis that you had of starting that paper to the conclusion. It's all your work. So that definitely adds a lot. Is it needed to get into Georgia Tech 100%? I would not. I would say no, not 100%. It adds points, but it's not like I had like one research paper, but that was not published in like AIEEE or ACM. It was one of the local publications in India at that time, but I had worked for the paper, so I could write about it in the SOP.
Yeah,
So
if your own
that
work,
also
then you can
counts.
explain it well,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, so that's, I hope that answered the question. And also I think there was a question on scholarship.
Yeah.
With masters, it's you could just do best with your scores, your SOP, your background, your projects. I know Georgia Tech does not hand out scholarship right off the back for masters. You will have to do some follow-up process to see if you can get that by talking to either talking to professors directly, that I would not directly asking for scholarship, but you have to be passionate in the work that they are doing. You would want to do research with them. And as I said, right, that scholarship is not something that universities just give out. It is because you're working on something that is funded
Hmm.
for whatsoever reason. uh, um, so you would want to aim on that you want to work with a professor that has funding, so that you get scholarship.
Okay. The Shreyas is asking, do applying early increase the scholarships chances? I don't think so, right? Because they are
Yeah,
like the applications are on a rolling basis anyway, so
yeah,
doesn't
that's correct.
matter.
I don't think so.
TA, RA possible before coming to campus?
Yeah, RA, yes, both of them are possible. Again, it depends on how you, what steps have you taken before reaching Georgia Tech, right? I will tell you mine. I did none. I didn't take any steps. I actually didn't know that you could get an opportunity before. So I just packed my bags and I went to Georgia Tech. But then I realized that there were some people around me who already were talking to professors. And when we say talking to professors, it means they were looking at what work they do, what professors work they do, and they reach out to them saying that I have I'm interested in the work that you're doing, and I would want to work with you. This is why I feel that I can add value to your group, etc., etc. So that kind of increases your chance to at least get into the group.
Hmm.
And from there you get an RA or a TA, because if you're working for a group, your professor would want to make sure that you are getting you are as close to the group as possible, which means you had to either get to do a TA, or you can do an
Research.
RA as well, research as well. So yes, so start early.
Okay. Uh, there are more questions. Let's see. So I think you answered why Georgia Tech very briefly, but do you want to add more on why Georgia Tech
Yeah, definitely. So coming back to that, I did AI. Took a course of AI during my
undergrad?
undergrad, which kind of got me into the thinking that I would want to do more exposure towards ML, machine learning. And Georgia Tech had one of the really good courses on machine learning. And if you see the electives, we'll see that in the next section, which is the courses. It's really beautiful. You have the theory machine learning, but then you have the application, which is machine learning for trading, which Abhinav was talking about at the start of the stream. um, and then you have DVA, which was another course that I liked so much, which is like digital, not digital, data visualization and analytics. So you have a data, you create a hypothesis that this data might look this way, and then you prove or disprove it using the visualization part of it. So you use a lot of D3,
Hmm.
like a lot of tools that's there. Um, so at that time, that was all gems and diamonds to me. So I took Georgia Tech, and it was
Okay.
one of the good school for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I wanted to go there, but unfortunately could not. All right, talking about courses and specializations now, and let's try to keep this short. And folks who are watching, please share this link with any of your friends who would be interested in learning more about it. We are now getting into more course specific TARA sort of discussion, which is going to be super helpful. So please share the link with as many people as possible. So talking about courses and specializations, Devpriya, I'm just going to the website and
Yeah,
I guess you go to master's degree, right?
yeah.
College of Computing.
We are not seeing your screen yet.
Yeah, because I'm
The website
presenting.
screen.
Sorry, you should be able to see this now.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I have too many things going on. And Master of Computer Science, right?
That's correct.
And then here, so first of all, what was the course structure like when you went? I see 30 hours of coursework and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So, if you see, there are program options, and this will be there for all the universities that you might apply for, right? So, mostly these are around the same line. So you have a course option where you just do um, full course in terms of just take subjects. Maybe you can add a special problem. So special problem is almost like a course, but you more do a small research in it. So that's like one of the course that you could add. That's what I did, which is what I selected a special problem, which means you work with the professor. It's not full grown thesis, but you do a little bit of research. So for 2 semesters you can take special problem, and I think 9 credits you can do special problem, and
Ah,
that kind of adds on. But that changes from university to university. So
yeah,
this
I
is
think
very
it's
specific.
this one, right? 21 hours of coursework, 9-hour project then.
So that's a project. That's not even a special problem. So
Oh,
that's
so this
like you.
has like this course option has a special problem option also.
Yeah, yeah, I think you could do the special problem over there. And that or yeah, that was the that course option had a special problem. So that is, and it again changes from university to
Sure.
university. And then there is project, which means that again you work with the professor. So these are good options. The project thesis options are good because you get to work with the professor. Now how does that help? It If you are really into research, it will help. Other thing is it helps in getting TARA as well,
Yep.
because you're working with a professor. You are close to that opportunity. um, and then there's this thesis option. So again, to add on, you don't have to decide that on the first day. You talk to a lot of seniors in that universities. There are groups on Facebooks of seniors, so feel free to contact them and see what they have done, and for that universities. And project option, 21 hours of coursework means actual courses where you have exams or submissions, and then there is 9 hours of project, which is your research. um,
Which
and
one did
then
you go
there's
for?
I did the course. I
Course
did 30
option.
hours of course with special problem. So I don't know why it's not mentioned over here clearly that you could do special problem separately as one of your course requirements.
Hmm.
But I think if you go more down into specialization, you should be able to see that special problem. And it also was a lot of when you talk about in once you reach to the university. I didn't know about special problem before.
Okay.
Once I reached university and I saw that there were people who were taking that opportunity, I went to my graduate office and I asked how that special problem turns out, and then I did not take it on the first day.
Okay.
My special problem started in last 2 semesters.
So,
um,
if we are talking about the specializations, I guess there are 11 specializations, and you
that's correct.
selected which one?
Machine learning, so it's all the way towards down.
Oh, there's
So
human
that's
high performance computing, there's
yeah, that's HCI.
HCI, interactive
That's
intelligence.
also a good specialization. This is the one that I did, specialization in machine learning.
So you had
Uh,
like 6 hours of core.
That was core, yeah. So if you see, it's divided into core courses and electives. To get a specialization in machine learning, you have to do, like, you have to do what this website says, which means from core courses you have to pick two of them. So it says from algorithm pick one. So I
Hmm.
took the CS6505, which was the algorithms. It's a little bit up.
Uh,
Yeah, this one.
yeah,
Compute. Yeah, yeah,
computability, algorithms, and complexity.
yeah, complexity. Very theory based subject, but again, it's one of the electives. So not electives, one of the core. So I had to take, and that was one of the good courses. um then I yes, I did that. You highlighted, say, 7641, again a very theory course. I did not enjoy it that much, which was just theory, no application much, but it's necessary. It's a core course.
Core course. Which one of these you would say was your best,
Electives.
yeah, elective?
Best. Oh, yeah. So machine learning for trading was one of my best that I did on my first semester itself, which is there. Yeah, 7646. There were others that I took. I took
You talked
DVA,
about
which
DVA.
is, yeah, DVA, data and visual analytics. That was another. I enjoyed that course truly. So if you see, there is a pattern on the courses that I like. The pattern is that they are not theory based.
Yeah,
They are more project based.
there is machine learning theory, but at the same time, I think the ML40 course
Yeah,
is project based, and
yeah. It's
that
project
that
based.
hopefully helped you build your portfolio, like learn more skills around.
Yeah, yeah. So another thing to add is that all my courses during my master's was Python, and I did not write one line of Python before coming to Georgia Tech.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
uh, yeah, so yeah, so my first, when it was, I think I did an AI. There's an artificial intelligence course as well.
KBAI or
Um, KB, I took KBAI, but there isn't just AI as well.
maybe it's from some
So
other.
I think in the specialization above machine learning, I think that's there. Scroll all
Oh
the
yeah,
way to the
this
top.
this
There's,
one,
yeah, 6601. Yeah, that's correct. It's
interactive
in interactive
intelligence.
intelligence. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and that was my first course in my first semester. Um, Fun fact: I got zero in one of the surprise tests. Artificial intelligence.
Congrats.
Uh, thank you. Yeah, you get to see that as well.
Yeah, yeah, that has
But
already happened, so which is why I'm
so yeah, but again, it's a different education, right? Like, it's a totally different education, totally different learning experience as compared to what you were in undergrad. There is a learning curve, so be light on yourself when you are going through it. Don't worry much. So that is where I actually learned Python, through that course,
okay.
because all my projects I did it in Python, and at that same time I also learned Python, so it became easy when I did machine learning for trading. um, Another thing to do is that make sure that reports that you submit with your projects are really high quality. Just writing code and having it compiled is not enough. You have to present why you did what you did in that
Yeah,
way. That is
document.
important. And do not copy.
Plagiarism is
Very
super
important.
serious.
Yeah, it's very
And
serious over here.
were you, while selecting, so I'll switch to the slides. Were you, while selecting all these courses, trying to build around a certain portfolio? Like, were you trying to target machine learning or
Yeah,
courses
I
that will
was.
teach you? Okay, so that was like
I was.
your, once you reached, after you figured out that I want to go for AI and ML, you started
Yeah.
taking courses and building your portfolio around those
Yeah.
courses.
Yeah, yeah.
All
You
right.
also have
Go ahead.
to
Sorry.
just add to just one line is that you also have to balance between the tough courses and easy courses. So I have some courses which does not make sense. Like, I did one education, this one education related
Technology.
ed tech. Thank you,
Yeah.
ed tech, which is not related to machine learning, but I did take it because all my other courses were very high demand.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Uh, so let's take a few questions. Will work experience help in university admissions? Nihit, I think Devpriya talked about it. It's not, I'll just repeat what you said. It's not like a guarantee that it's going to help. It's good to have, but your SOP is what will matter. So, like, she came without work experience, I came without work experience. But if you have a good portfolio of projects and if you're able to prove that in your SOP, that will help you out anyway. Do you agree with that, Devpriya, or anything else?
That's correct. That's a well summarized statement.
Can we work remotely while being in a university for MS? Like, I guess we can't work for the initial 9 months or so. Vedant, I don't think you can work remotely unless your program actually allows you to do that. Like, if your program has this thing that you can take up a project with a company and it'll count towards your credits, then you should be able to do it remotely. But you'll have to ensure that your graduate advisor is okay with you reducing the course workload and taking up on the company
That's
project.
correct.
Okay, TZ, Scorpio, what is the co-op and how does it help students? So I think co-op is because of a question that was asked by Advait. It's basically sort of an internship, but for a longer period, 6 months,
Six
let's say.
months.
And it's the same. It helps you build your profile
Portfolio.
because you have like experience now on your resume. So you can complete projects in your co-op, which will help you out. Rentu Roy, I have 50% in graduation and MBA. Can I apply for MSBA program? Yeah, like no one is stopping you from MSBA is I think business analytics, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you
Yeah, sure.
can definitely apply for that after an MBA. That's yeah, 50% in graduation. Should it really matter now?
I don't know if some universities have like a hard
They
cut
have.
because they do not translate our percentage to as is. Like you have to explain that 79 on
Yes,
100 or like 78 on 100, or you have to sometimes even use some websites to actually convert it
WES
to
and
GP.
yeah,
Yeah,
evaluation and
yeah,
stuff, right?
evaluation and get that done as well. So it depends on, but yeah, I mean, if you can upskill, if there's an opportunity, sure, yeah.
Satvashila Gujar, ma'am, I have good profile, CGPA publications pattern, but I messed up with GRE 305. Which colleges should be targeted more, ambitious or safe? I'd like to hear
Um,
your answer on this.
So really good profile that if you have patents, really amazing. Uh, Point is, if you can give GRE again, if you want to give it one more shot, I would advise that because you have really good profile. So if you get little even about 310 in the score, you'll get the the probability of you getting into one of these Georgia Tech, UIUC
Will be higher.
increases because you have patents. That's amazing. So congratulations to that and kudos. Um, but yeah, if you think that no, it's too much, don't want to do it, then again, as I said, that it's okay what university you come to. It's fine. You will still get some good universities as well. Now good in terms of choose good in terms of area, which means that you can choose one in ones that's there in New York area, any university, because then you get companies are right there, or you can do one in California because then companies are right there, so you get opportunities a lot. Like Atlanta also have some companies, but it's not right there. So Georgia Tech, then because of the name, you get a lot of companies, so
Mhm.
you always choose based on the parameters. um, but yeah, definitely apply, yeah.
And I think to add to that, I guess she's also asking ambitious or safe, and I think the categorization is basically based on your profile, so you can apply
Yeah,
for it. But ambitious or safe is definitely a function of what your profile looks like when you are applying. So
yeah.
you can categorize your universities as ambitious or safe and apply for all. Like there's nothing that you need to target more on, but I think it's a good distribution to have where you have uniformly distributed the universities across different categories. Hello, I'm a fourth year student in CS. I want to do directly MS after my bachelor. So what things can I do which enhances my profile? We talked about a lot of these things, Garv, if you go back in the live stream on what Devpriya did to make sure that she gets good admits. Please check out. There is a lot of information on how she was building her profile during her undergrad and how SOPs actually helped her get to this stage. All right, let's go. Tuition fee. What was your tuition fee and living expenses?
I think in the first semester it was $15,000 as far as I remember, and living expenses anywhere between 400 $500. Rent is what takes the most of it, and even rent like you live like six people in one
Oh,
apartment, right?
really?
Even with that, yeah, I mean, I did.
I thought Atlanta is cheaper.
It depends on where you like. There are, every city has place which is a little bit safe versus some place where you have to make sure you reach on time. It's
Yeah.
all the cities, even in Mumbai or even in India there are cases, right? So I just chose a location where I could come in from library whatever time I want to, like 4 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning. um, like, or leave for a project at, like, 11 p.m. To do so. So it depends. So yeah, so and then it depends on your lifestyle as well. I did mostly cooking by myself,
Hmm.
so I did not eat out, so that saved some money for me. So it was just mostly groceries. And yeah, it's lifestyle. I mean, outdoor activities, I anyways, like, in general, it's less for me. Like, even now, that's how I am. So
You save
that's what
that,
living
right? And
expenses.
the tuition fee you said is 15,000 per semester.
15,000, it's still 15,000 per
Per,
semester. So I
uh,
think it's based on course, like credits.
yeah. So
So if
how
it
much was it per credit? Do you remember?
so I took 12 credits. So if we divide by 12, then it's around like 1,000,
Okay.
and then there is like few more dollars for like recreational,
Administrative
I
and
think, administrative, and etc. etc. And yeah, so that was my first semester, and from second semester I had an RA. So that was waived off, so I got a scholarship in second semester, and third semester I was a TA. So that was also waived, and then you get a stipend as well.
okay.
um,
Wow. Okay. So because you now started mentioning RA, TA, let's talk about working on campus. You did not work on campus, but were there opportunities where you could work on like in dining and stuff?
yeah, I did not find it. That's what I would say, that I did not know where to look for, but now I can advise you where to look for. So every university either has like a website where
Hmm.
they post like an on campus job opportunities, or even on the notice boards. Feel free to ask graduate office where you can find on campus opportunities. There's no shying away from it, everyone is looking for it. I did not do it, but I highly advise you to do it. So in first semester itself, you can find at least some, so to take care of your day-to-day living expense. It can be anything from developing code, maintaining servers, or
Oh,
dining, as you said. It can be
I,
anything.
I I
So
was in dining, which is why I said dining. I didn't know
yeah,
there are jobs where you can actually do some technical work, like in
yeah,
the
you can.
office.
Yeah, but don't be choosy at that time in first semester. If you're getting in first semester something, it's good, because then you network more and you get more opportunities.
Sure.
So
Okay. And
just take note.
so then let's talk about your TA stuff in that case, right? Because you moved on to becoming a TA.
Yeah,
What was that process like? And
yeah.
how much were you getting paid from that?
Yeah. So I would say that if you are reaching out to professors early on, which means that before even you reach the universities, you go. There is always a website that says faculty, and you can read their bio. You can see their research. They not exactly the funding, but the current projects that they're working on, and you choose based on. I think there is faculty somewhere
We can find that
on
out.
the top. Yeah. So you can select your area of interest, and then you can select the professor who's working on that. Thank you. Yeah. So if you see over here, there is a list of professors
Let's go
in
to your
different.
professor, Tucker Botch.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
you can
he.
see what they are working on.
Yeah, that's correct. And then they have their websites as well, specific websites where I think here he just has the same.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's
this
his CV and
everything
stuff.
CV, and the scholar page. So scholar page is going to be a good friend, Google Scholar,
Okay.
because that will lead you to all the papers of that professor. So just go to Google Scholar, type the name of the professor, you'll get all the um, papers they have co-authored. read those and see what they actually work on. You don't have to read the entire paper, so don't be
Hmm.
disheartened that, well, I will not understand this quantum physics. You don't have to worry about it. Just read the introduction, just read the conclusion. Once you do that, try to see how it aligns with your interest, and do not send a cold email to professor. With this all this information, send out an email that you are actually wanting to work with him. So that's your first step to introducing yourself to the professor. And once you do that, it is a possible that whatever your work or email is, maybe the professor would be really impressed with your work and the email that you have sent, and maybe will set up some time once you are on campus to see what can be done next, in terms of you working with them. That's one way of getting introduced to professor. And then once you get introduced to professor, you also get opportunity to a RA or even TA.
Is that what
And
happened in
then
your case?
mine was little late. I did not do it before I reached Georgia Tech. After I reached Georgia Tech, I realized that there were people who have already contacted professor and were already started working in labs and have a TA in the hand in first semester. So, well, it's never late, right? So I started then. So I definitely took machine learning for trading in my first semester, and I loved the course. I also liked how professor taught. I really liked that he had a totally different background. He was he used to fly. He's a pilot. So so advanced and so nice. So I in general, I was very happy if I could work with him. So I just sent him that email that why I feel uh, I I would be able to work with him, and why it interests me, and why trading interests me. And that opened kind of doors. And I also did really good in ML40
Okay,
course,
so
so
that
that
also
machine
helps,
learning
right?
trading
Because
course.
if you have
That
done
helps.
good.
Definitely. First semester, whatever course you take the courses that you feel you can work with that professor and excel in that course. If there is an extra credit, I would suggest take that extra credit and do it. It helps in building the profile. Um, and that's what how I got introduced to Professor Takabalch. And then I got an opportunity. So my first semester was an RA because we were building that course. So it was
Hmm.
kind of an RA. And then once that course went live, in my last semester, I was a TA for that course, which was the online master's program course. Um, so that's how I got my TARA. And you asked another question. So the scholarship is waived off. I still have to pay my um, some admin fees, and also um, the insurance.
So you
That's, you have
actually
to still
got
pay that.
funded basically, right? After
I
you.
did get funded in second and third semester.
Oh
Yes.
wow, so your $30,000 were gone. Basically, you
Yeah.
didn't pay for it.
Saved. Yeah, that's
And
correct. Yeah, it
and
got saved.
what was your like monthly RATA stipend?
Uh, if I remember, it depends on which TA you are. So there is a lead TA. Lead TA gets around, I guess, around 1800 or something.
Wow.
And I think there are other TAs who get around 800 to 1200. So it depends on seniority where you are. But I would suggest anything around about 400, 5, depending on area. So for New York, 1000 is also like
Yeah, less.
something that you will have to work with. Yeah. But for Atlanta, I guess even 600 to 800 was a really good deal. So it
Yeah.
depends on which level of TA you are. RA
That
is pretty, I guess, standard. It's like 2000 or
yeah.
something.
That's pretty cool actually. Covers for pretty much everything.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely. It's
okay. Let's actually I think it's getting super late. We have been talking for 1 hour 18 minutes now. So how important are career fairs? What was the career fair like at Georgia Tech? And did you
yeah.
land anything from that?
Yeah, all the answer questions that you ask, the answer is yes. It is important. Yes, you get opportunities to go to interview once you do good at career fair. You again, like and everything else, you have to prepare for career fair. My first career fair was right after first month. After coming to Georgia Tech, so that was not much fruitful because I my resume was this small because I was studying all the while. Didn't have much courses, was just starting. It doesn't help if you talk about the courses in career fair. So how is career fair, just to level set that, right? There are there are companies who come put up stalls, and you stand in a queue, you go there, you say, you use an elevator speech, which is like you introduce yourself and
30
why
second
you are so,
magic.
you are, yeah, 30-second magic, you are, you're passionate about the company and how your skills or your personality adds to that company's value. Okay, so that you have to say that, and then they'll ask you some questions, you have to ask some smart questions to them, and if it's really good, then it gets converted to an opportunity to do an interview with them. So that's what career fair is. So my first career fair was just like trial and error, because I went to the first booth and I was like, here's my resume, I didn't know what to do. um, but then I learned because I was listening to all other people who were doing it and I improvised. So first career fair was okay. From second career fair, I started planning. So you get in your university a list of companies that are coming for career fair. You plan your day out between your courses, that you will finish this companies before you go to this class or at this time, or you miss that class depending on where your priority is. And then you prepare one night before itself what that company is doing, how your profile, which project will you choose from your resume to talk about for that company, because that aligns with that company.
Hmm.
So if you are doing 5 projects, doesn't mean that you'll say the same project to all the companies. One company might be doing something really good with data. So if you have a project related to data, you will talk about that project while you're during your elevator speech. Someone is doing really good with distributed computing. You have some computing course, you talk about that. So
Customizing
that's how
it.
you have to prepare. Customizing, it's very important. So that's how you prepare, and yeah, and plan it out. So all the big companies like Google, Yahoo, they normally just say apply online. So do not wait on the queues that much, because you can do that online, or go to look at for other companies, that like there was Weather Channel, they or some other companies which will get you opportunities. So yeah, my internship, I got it because of career fair. I had Visa and Yahoo as two options for
Nice.
choosing an internship, and that was because of career fair.
Where did you finally go for your intern?
Yahoo. Yahoo.
Yahoo. As a software developer?
Software developer. Yes, software developer. Not a data science again. It was a software developer course.
Okay.
Not course, like a job.
Did you say that you had five different resumes, or you used the same resume, but you had five different
Same resume,
pitches
but
that you would?
pitches were different. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So you went to Yahoo for internship, not to Yahoo Finance, relating it to what you're doing currently. You went to like pure Yahoo and
Just Yahoo. It was Flickr. If you know what Flickr
yeah,
is,
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. It's like
Uh,
a website with images. So
yeah,
yeah.
photo stuff. Cool. So career fairs are important, and you actually got your internship through that.
Yes, I did. Yes.
Visa
Even
also.
full time. Even full time, some opportunities I did get through career fair.
Wow. Let's get into that then. What was your
Yeah.
full-time search looking like? Did you get it before you graduated? Did you wait till the very end? How was that process? Were you applying a lot online or career fair help? Like, let's talk through that.
Yeah. So full time search and prep. So it's a totally different ball game, because what you study, at least for software development, I wouldn't comment for any other specialization. At least for computer science, interviews is a totally different section than what you actually do your masters for. So um, what I did was that I thought that I am already doing so many courses. I am doing so much coding every single day, that should be enough for me to crack any interview. And I did few here and there, but that was winging it. It was not actually what interview prep is. Interview preparation is literally how you prepare for your GRE and
Hmm.
TOEFL, which is that you sit, you code, you do lead code, you do CTCI. I would suggest start from first semester. Think it's an extra course, thinks it's like a 4 credit extra course, and spend couple of hours every week just doing CTCI. CTCI is a book. Let me see if I have it here. It's this.
Oh, it's getting
I don't
blurred,
know if
but
it's like also blurring, cracking the coding interview.
oh, okay.
So
See,
that's the
we
book.
have guests on the channel who have props ready to be shown. Thank you.
That's yeah, I didn't have it then, I have it now. So yeah, yeah, do the cracking the coding interview. You will get it in the library, so you don't have to spend on it. And do lead code. um, and keep that as a aim. If your aim is to get a full-time job after your masters, not everyone aim is,
Hmm.
someone wants to do PhD, someone wants to do postdoc. People have different aims, so depending on your aim, you channel your things through. Yeah, so I did not prep for interview using lead code and CTCI for initial opportunities that I got. uh, I was applying online. I was applying through career fairs. I had interviews with Microsoft, Weather Channel, Ericsson. Morgan Stanley didn't come to career fair, so I went all the way to their website to apply for it. So you can
Okay.
do that. Do not limit yourself
Career fair
to the career
companies.
fair. LinkedIn job search is your friend. Put your filters, put a reminder. They will send you every night an email saying that these are the companies with your search results. Apply them. And that is where I had, I think resume um, was pretty much the same, I believe, but my cover letters were different depending on the
Okay.
type of company I was applying. Because I was applying to some data science companies, though I didn't pass the interviews, and then I was applying to software development roles. So my cover letter was different at that time. So yeah, in the end, in my initial interviews, I didn't prep, so I didn't pass any of them, and I lost some opportunities. But then I realized that yes, you have to prep totally different from your studies. I started doing it, and then finally, I think I got in Weather Channel, Ericsson, and Morgan Stanley.
Oh, wow.
Of three of them, I chose Morgan Stanley.
This was before you graduated.
This was just before I graduated. That's correct. Morgan Stanley, I think, was just 1 month before I got graduated. I got the news that
And
uh, it has
Yahoo full time did not work out, like the
did not work
conversion.
out.
Okay.
It did not work out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think you mentioned about lead code. So did you also participate in hackathons? Because I hear a lot about that people do Google Code of
Yeah.
Summer and stuff and
It
hackathon.
helps. It helps. It helps. Definitely helps. I didn't do. And hackathon I did only when I was at Yahoo, because that was a company-based hackathon. But I know a lot of my friends at that time in Georgia Tech did do hackathon even when they're doing internship and all. So it's really good thing. Any competitive programming, any exposure to programming will build your profile, will put you in networks. It's all about networking here. Yeah, if you
Okay.
have time, if you have that capability to do it and you want to do it, definitely.
Okay. Because we are talking about the full time, there's a question from Piyush asking for SDE interviews. Do companies
Hmm.
focus only on data structure and algorithm problems? Maybe you
Yep.
can talk a little bit about what was your interview like.
Yeah, my interview was data structures, algorithm, design patterns, at least in Morgan Stanley. And my Ericsson was also design patterns and data structures. And my Weather Channel was, they asked me to write a recursion code. So because they use Scala, and I think there was a lot of functional programming going there, so they wanted to make sure that I can write some recursion code because it's almost similar concepts. So yes, answer is they focus on data structures algorithm a lot. Um, for just out of college, you will not have design, like designer system. You will not have
Hmm.
that. That's once you gain some experience. So just focusing on building your data structure and algorithm through lead code, through CTCI, will help.
Okay. So Piyush, hopefully that answers that. For Devpriya, that was definitely the focus, but it may not be the only focus in the interviews. But it's a good base to have with data
Yeah, like
structures
that is the base needed for
for.
any interviews. And then of course you need to add depending. So for example, if you do data science, if you're applying for a data science job, then you would need more than data structures and algorithm, because then you need to know how to remove the eigenvalue for something, how to do ev ratio. It's basically specifically to then the probability and statistics. So it depends on what you are applying for. I applied for Uber Research, which was a data science job.
Oh,
They
okay.
asked me everything related to expected value, and I had to remember the formula, which I did not, so I didn't pass. So
Okay.
it depends on the
The
interview that you're
role,
preparing
sort
for.
of.
Yeah, yeah, role. Yeah.
Um, okay, so someone is not happy that I didn't ask their question.
Okay.
Let me see. I have, wait, where is that? Oh, how to approach professor of US University for research projects related to business analytics. I don't have any previous research experience. I mean, so this session is more around computer science, and we talked a little bit about how Devpriya approached the professors after she came on campus for TAs and RAs. I can speak to this very briefly, how to approach professors of universities for research projects related to business analytics. I'm guessing like if you have done something in the bachelor's, that is one way that you portray that work when you are reaching out. If not, like all you can do probably is see if they have a research project that you can work with them on, and it could be unpaid, and that helps. Like initially, you can do unpaid. Say I am reaching out, I want to work on the research, and we just went through the website of a professor that Devpriya worked with, so that is another way. You can look at what people are doing in the university and see if you can help them out with certain research topic, and it'll be helpful. So let's see. There's so Piyush, we answered. Nisarg, as we would be interviewing as an MS student, do they ask system design questions? I think you said not, right?
Not right out of your masters, no, but it depends on, if let's say you have 8 years of experience before coming to masters, they um, um some companies do take that into consideration, some do not. Like Morgan Stanley do not take into consideration your India experience while you apply
Hmm.
for Morgan Stanley. If you're right out of university, you're right out of university, you are in the same batch. But some companies do. So if let's say you decide that you want to apply for a higher role, which is like a software engineering 2 or 3, which is like software engineering 1 is like intern and 2 is like right out of college, and then 3 is one level up. If you do that, then they might ask you, but
Okay.
not for someone who's just out of.
And I think there's a really good channel that I have followed, Gaurav Sen, who posts
Oh
on
yeah, he's
YouTube.
really nice.
YouTube,
Yes, he has really nice one. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Uh, there are other things also that you could read online, which also has good system design. Even CTCI touch bases a little bit. So
Okay. Nisarg is again asking, considering if we had a year of experience before MS. Oh, okay. So I think you said 7 to 8 years of experience. If you're sort of going to be a tech lead soon in your career, then system design probably helps you out better. But straight after college with just 1 years of experience may not.
may
Okay.
not. Yeah.
Do they ask OOPS, object oriented, DBMS,
Object oriented.
networking questions in interview?
It depends on the role that you're interviewing. So like I have never been asked any networking questions. Yes, object oriented. Yes, if you're applying for a software development role, that said,
Cannot
they will ask
escape
you.
it.
Yeah, they'll ask you singleton. They'll ask you everything related to object oriented. And the second thing was what,
Um,
networking. Oops, and
DBMS.
TBMS, yes, depends on the role. Like if you are applying for the role that says you'll be heavily in ETL, or let's say it's distributed computing, but towards the backend side, and the major focus is database, they might ask you Cassandra, like what is SQL, no SQL. This is very rare where someone has asked, write me an SQL query, very rare.
Okay. Is
Um,
that something people should know? Because I only know that.
what is
SQL. So
SQL, no SQL?
I'm happy that you mentioned that people.
Just know about the databases, different databases before going to the interview. If the role says, like for example, my weather channel interview, I went through Glassdoor and I saw what kind of questions they ask and what their profile was, and I realized that they were no SQL database. They use Cassandra. So
Oh,
I did prepare around it. So it's again based on your company's profile.
companies.
Morgan Stanley, on the other hand, didn't do that. Um, Same with Ericsson, they didn't do that. So it depends on your companies.
Okay. Hopefully, Aditya, that answers your question. Vishwas, You're doing great and love from Bangalore. Keep your vlogs going. Thank you. You motivated me. How to apply for internship. So Vishwas, once we have published this video, you'll be able to go back and see Devpriya talked about her internship journey. It was mainly through career fairs. So you can take a look at that. Griffith is asking how many lead code questions to target for FANG SD1 profile.
Yeah, that's always a tricky question. It's not just grind work in terms of just getting the numbers done, but it's more developing a framework that if you do, like for example, a lot many binary tree question, you should know it goes through recursion a lot.
Mhm.
So it's do enough so that you know,
Basic
you look at a
concepts at least.
question, you point out the items and you say that this is the framework and this is what algorithm or data structure you can use. I wouldn't put a number to it because it
Okay,
depends on person to person. Some people do 800, some people do 200 and crack the same interview. So
so Griffith, the short answer is just keep working on it. Don't put a number to it and try to get the concepts more than targeting that these are the number of questions that I need to get through. Mahesh, I know topic going on is different, but I've become crazy fan of your YouTube channel. Thank you. Thank you. Feels so good. Um,
yeah, yeah, so your hard work.
all right. I'll give a very brief intro to this slide, and then we can probably, there's one question that I have, and people have asked that. So OMSCS is Online Master of Science in Computer Science for those who are watching and have also reached out to me because I posted a video on the channel about the most affordable um, CS program, a master's CS program in the US, which is this program. A really, really good program, in my opinion, for someone who doesn't have a CS background. It's the same rigor, exact same pattern as you would see physically on campus. And Devpriya has been a TA for this program. So one of the courses that I registered for, and she also was a she was also a student for ML for trading. And that's how I came to basically know that Devpriya is someone who has been through this program. So I reached out to her on LinkedIn for doing this. But Devpriya, the question is, why should someone do physical masters coming to Atlanta all the way if they can actually go through online masters of science sitting anywhere in the world?
It is a very valid question, and a lot of things come into play when you take that decision. It's again no right or wrong. Depends on situation to situation, what point of life you are in, what risk you can take, how privileged are you to take that risk. So I'll just go through pros and cons, and I'll also like summarize at high level of how you would want to make the decision, or like some pointers to make the decision.
Hmm.
um, it's an entire experience when you come to on campus. It's almost like Zoom meeting versus in-person meeting, right? You Zoom meeting very difficult to stop someone, say your point. You might have seen that even in your universities if you're still doing virtual classes,
Sure.
right? It's a totally different ball game. It's a totally different environment, and that's totally different how you when you are on campus, you are surrounded with the same mindset goals people. They have different goals, but they are all focused on getting their masters, getting either their research job. And all the things that I figured out was because I was surrounded by people who kind of were two steps ahead of me. I know OMSCS also provide that community. It is great. But it comes to if you are privileged to taking risk of going on campus and starting your life all over again. And the reason I say you are privileged to take risk is because when you go to a different country and if you do not have someone there already, you are starting ground up. There is a
Hmm.
website that we can like it might be linked in the description and we can show it up
Oh,
also. It's
sure.
a broad channel
Sure. Let me
which,
bring that up.
yeah, which while Abhinav does that, right, which shows you not the items that we talked about in this, which shows you the things that you will need once you come to US to just have a normal living. You need a phone, you need a SIM card, you need to set up your house, some small things, you need to save money. So if you see over here, this blog is just starting up, and a few good friends of mine are doing this. So if you see the questions, how to open a checking account in US,
Hmm.
very basic, right? You are already set it and set up wherever you are right now in this world. That all is set for you. You don't have to think about it. But here, you come, you have to set that up. Then there are items like, how do you save money? You use coupons.
How
Like
to
no one,
find.
like no one would want to just keep cooking at home and working like 13 hours a day, right? So how do you still have a normal life? So it means you are taking a risk of starting ground up in US. Everyone does. And there are other challenges when you move to a different country, right? You have learning curve in terms of education, you have learning curve in terms of culture, you are living with roommates to save money, so you have that adjustment. So if you are in a position to take that risk, to and again, nothing guarantees. Once you start ground up, there is no guarantee that you will be getting a job. Yes, everyone gets one, so don't worry about it. But it's not that, okay, you have a degree, you have a job. No, that's no guarantee, nowhere it's written. So um, it's important that, if you can take the risk, I would suggest come on campus. There's a lot of money also involved. OMSCS is like a totally different fee structure as compared to that. So can you, or would you want to, are you in right now a situation where you would want to, um, um, yeah, so like
Quite higher
Abhinav's,
actually.
yeah, quite
Fees
high.
quite high on
It is
campus
quite,
basically.
yeah,
Plus
it
the living
is.
expenses come through.
Living expense, yes, that's
But
correct.
in terms of
And
program, you would still say it's very similar, right?
it is very similar, yes. For CS, yes. I think Georgia Tech did a really good job in putting up courses. And let me tell you, a lot of research goes back in making sure how long the video should be, what content should be. There's a lot of retakes, and this is behind the scene items. It it there is research, there is thorough research on what will work to make sure that the student do not lose focus when they are doing online masters, because they know it's a challenge. And for some people it just works best, like for Abhinav, he's working at YouTube full time, but he's doing online masters, he's upskilling himself, which is amazing. um, there are other people, I know someone in my office as well who started doing this Georgia Tech course, sitting while having a family, sitting working full time at Morgan Stanley, upskilling. So it depends on how you would want to take decision based on your current situation. um,
Okay.
Both of them are great courses. It's just that on campus you get a full round
The
development.
experience is definitely very different when
It's
you're
totally
on
different.
campus.
That's
So,
correct.
by the way, the link that this abroad channel blog link, I'll leave it in the description for anyone who wants to check out. This is something that a friend of Devpriya started, and they are constantly posting about what you should be doing. I'm presenting a different screen, so
No
uh,
problem. That's okay.
they basically have started a blog to help out students who are coming in now. So do check it out. The link will be in the description box. It's called Abroad Channel. Okay, let's we are getting towards the end of it. I know people are dropping off slowly, so let's see if
Okay,
we can.
let's conclude.
What are some of the tools you would suggest learning?
um, Depends on your course, I would say. If you are doing machine learning, data science, Python would be something that would be good. If you have time to learn from the start, that's great. Will make little life easier. Otherwise, the tools are, lead code, Glassdoor, that I consider them tools for jobs. Lead code, Glassdoor, for and on campus jobs and all, it will be based on universities. um, all the groups in colleges, in terms of like every college have different types of groups, like there is a student body, there is an Indian group as well, official groups, there are official groups, it's not something that started just on the side. Definitely those are tools for networking, for just relaxing and just being with people you like, people with same mind. And in terms of courses, there every university will have place where you can see how the professor's rating is. So
Hmm.
you definitely find that out what that is, so that you know before joining the class how the professor is, how hard the course is.
Yeah, I guess
um
that professor thing is called Rate My Professor or something. There's a
is
website.
it okay?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't
I'll
remember
just
now.
okay.
Yeah, okay, if it is, then you can put it in the description. Yeah. Yeah, that is pretty much it. Google Scholar is another thing, that if you're doing computer science, no matter what course you take, there will be a course where you have to read research papers.
Research.
So Google Scholar is your friend. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but I think from a tools perspective, you basically saying like Python is definitely something that's
If you're doing
good.
data science,
Data
if you're
science.
doing just application development, then Java, Scala, it would be good. That those are languages, again, as I said, right? It's not language specific. So
I don't know. Nahit said this is the link, Abhinav, but I do not know what link. Okay. All right. Last slide. Wow,
yes.
1 hour 44 minutes. I didn't expect this to be so long. But thank you for sticking around, whoever is still here. So, what are your words of wisdom for anyone that's watching, that's planning for education uh, in the
Right.
US, especially in CS?
Yeah. So this is what was written on my master's graduation cap. So when you graduate, you can decorate your cap, the graduation cap that you have. So it was written: fall, rise, fight, survive.
Wow.
It is, and this is what I stand by. It's very important when you do any masters, if you're doing online or if you're doing on campus, does not matter, US, outside, not US, anywhere. If you're doing masters, you will, no matter how much you prepare, you will be faced with challenges. There will be times where you will see that some of your peers who might have not scored all A's
Hmm.
but got an internship, or their internship got converted to full time. So what I'm saying is that fight your internal inhibition to say that, how did I miss it, what's wrong with me. It's natural, happens with everyone when you see, when you're in under pressure. But fight that out. Rise is basically, yeah, you have to come out of it, you have to course correct and go to your next steps. You will have support, you will have support from your family, from your friends close by, you will have support. Things get okay in the end. um, and fall, rise, and fight, we already talked about that. You have to fight your internal inhibition. You will fall, it's not an easy thing. And survive, or I would say I have changed that to thrive, that
Hmm.
don't just survive but thrive. um, you will upskill yourself, not just using your in your career, but in general 360, you will upskill
Yep.
yourself. And
Yeah.
that's what we want. Yeah.
That's a nice way of putting, like, don't just survive, instead thrive.
Yeah.
Um, cool. Thank you so much. This was all extremely informative. I learned a lot of things myself, and I'm going to be reaching out to you more often now because of OMSCS. You have been a TA, so definitely you have a
No
lot more
problem.
context. So what we will do is, people who are still on, if you have any questions for Devpriya, we will stay. We are done with the presentation or the talk, the conversation. If you have any questions, please post them in the chat, and we can go through them. I have a few questions already that I see on the screen, so I'll talk through them with Dev Priya. This is actually a friend who could not get to the live chat. He's from my undergrad college, and currently
Okay.
he's working in cybersecurity, but not doing any
Okay.
software development.
Okay.
And he wants to actually do software development in cybersec. So, what's the
Okay.
best way to start with programming at this stage for a non-programming background person? Any certifications, online courses, any recommendations?
Yeah, start with online courses. So there are software development. There are, now the online is amazing. Like you can just know so much without even a master's degree, and you will know more than a person who has a master's degree if you put your head and your focus on that. So there is Coursera, there is Udacity, there is Pluralsight. You don't have to buy. Also there is edX. It's not necessary to buy
There's
some of the
YouTube.
famous courses. There's YouTube. there is YouTube. I forgot. Sorry, Abhinav. Yes, it I hit home. Yeah, there's YouTube. And they teach coding. They teach the basics of it. There is MIT open courseware as well, and there is algorithm course on that. But I would suggest, if you just want to start development, small, it's coding language. So there are two parts when you go to coding, right? One is your analytical skill, but if you're already in cybersecurity space, I'm sure that's amazing. And the second is the language. So I would suggest pick up Python or Java. Python is way easier to pick up. Java is a little more conceptual. So pick up Python, take that course, take any tutorial site, Udacity, Coursera course. It's free, easy level. From there, just start taking projects. Once you do projects, then take a higher intermediate level course, and you should be good. And then you can start doing full form coding.
And yeah, this is actually a question by a friend called Chinmay. So Chinmay, you can join the OMSCS journey if you want and get the courses there. There are few courses like I've registered for software development process, I think, for the next semester, which I'm super
Yeah.
excited about. Hopefully it will go good. So there is another question from Jay. He's asking, as my branch is AI, after graduation, I want to apply for the role of AI product manager. So how its interview is different from an interview of product manager and SDE, AI product
So
manager.
I AI product manager. So Abhinav, you are a product manager. Why
I'm a
didn't you
program
answer that question?
manager. I'm a program
Okay.
manager. But
Okay, that's different than product manager.
my my
But you would
take
know.
my take on this is that any product manager interview has to have some knowledge of software development, or at least the software side of the technology. In this case, it's AI. So you would be expected to understand the software side of AI. Like, how would you take on to the responsibility when your SDE is not present? Let's say, like that's probably a concise way to put it. You should be able to talk through the technically complex concepts. Are
Yeah.
you? Do you have someone who's
No, I was just saying that there is, just like CTCI is for coding, there is same
PM interview?
author product manager.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is like another good resource to have. But as far as I have seen in my experience, it's you should be able to have technical conversations with your SD. So if someone is asking you about a particular algorithm, you should at least have conceptual knowledge of it. Like if you're not able to, because as a PM, you have to talk with work with software engineers, and as long as you are good with the technicalities of the products that you're working on, you are going to be successful. So the interviews are mostly going to be around the concepts. Some companies I've seen have asked coding questions also, but they are not going to be like super complex. Can Pradnesh is asking, can we directly switch from electrical? I'm currently in final year. Can they?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, if you have the course to support your SOP, again, it's all comes down to, can you show you can do computers? And even a small project outside, even a GitHub project helps. So build your GitHub profile if you do not have it already. And you write your SOP based on it. And that, in fact, adds you that you are electrical because of some reason, but then you started loving
And
doing coding for XYZ reason, and you want to do
yeah,
masters in
I
it.
I have had friends who have started with electrical and who later on got into computer vision, deep learning, and stuff, which is a
Yeah,
lot of what a lot of people do. So
yeah,
that is like another great switch to have.
yeah.
How much normal projects? This is Mainak asking, how much normal projects, not research projects, matter in MLAI for improving profile for master's application?
For masters, so no, there is very few universities who admit you to a direct specialization directly. You normally get admitted to university and then you choose your specialization. So in my SOP, I did mention briefly around ML because that's where my interest anyways was, but it is not necessary that you to have complete projects just focus on your specialization, because you get admitted to a university, then you choose your specialization. So I had a total full control that I could choose a HCI, even though in my SOP I had mentioned about ML. But it will help you to talk through your career fair if you want to land a data science internship. It will help you to level set. on what is coming next if you plan to do specialization in that. So yeah, if do it, there's no harm in doing it, but there's no number to it or not necessary.
Yeah, I guess one project could probably talk a lot about your skill set. So
That's
focus
true.
on that, like it's a quality versus quantity argument. Parth is asking, what's good for me working in FANG company in India and shift to USA, uh, or doing masters in USA and getting a job. So I think it's between working in a FANG company in India versus moving to US for masters and getting a job there. What
I'm
was
just thinking if I was in your position, what I would have done. So it's my personal opinion. Um, I would have said that if I'm liking the work that I do and I like the team and I am growing, that's very important. Now, how would you say you're growing? Is basically you set your goals right in the start of the year, and then you see if you have reached that. So that's when you know that you're growing. If you're growing, if your team is good, I would definitely take an opportunity to just come here from the company.
uh,
um, that's my personal opinion. People may differ, that's fine. And then do what Abhinav did, which is do masters on the side. It's
yeah,
amazing. It's like the best thing you could do.
yeah. I think that is definitely the case, but with all the immigration stuff that's going on, not
Yes,
everything works
yes,
out. So make
yeah.
sure that, as Devi already said, what your goal is. If the goal is to come here, there are multiple ways. If the goal is to get higher education, which is what Devpriya was focusing on, you choose to do masters instead of going for a job, which is what I did as well. So there are different paths, but it depends on where your destination is. Eventually, where do you want to really end up being? Um, RJ, amazing live stream with a fire emoji. Thank you. Well, it's oh, Adil is asking, is it worth doing MS by resigning FANG job? Ah,
It's a tricky question. I know some people who have done. I wouldn't say they were Fang though, but I know some people, and they did master and rejoined the same company in US. So
exactly.
I
Yeah.
I I know that people have done that as well, because if you're working for like 5 years, you have contacts in that company. So getting the opportunity to interview becomes easier. Um, Again, it's a personal choice. If your goal is to upskill, to do research, I would want to go back to education anytime. So what's your personal choice?
Yeah. And
It's not a
and
binary answer.
why resign if you have a program like OMSCS?
That's
Just
true.
just get MS through OMSCS while you are working. Okay, let's wait. So it's 150, 1 hour, 56 minutes already, Devpriya. I'm so sorry. This took way
No
longer than I
worries.
expected.
No problem.
But at least like people are looking that they are satisfied. But what we will do is let's wait for another 4 minutes on the live stream and
Okay.
see if people have anything. And also, like the live stream ends abruptly, so I do not want that to happen. But I'd like to thank you so much again for taking out 2 hours. I know it's already lunchtime in New York. So
That's true.
thank you so much for doing
No
this.
problem.
Very insightful. My cousin also messaged me that you were very articulate, and this was really good to listen
Thank you.
through all your experiences. And now I'm getting people messaging that the live stream was really great. Then Piyush is basically saying that was a really good informative live stream. Thank you, Abhinav and Devpriya. Best part, Abhinav addressing each and every question. Yeah, I guess I would like to be in a situation where there are so many questions that we cannot go through, but this is actually good that we have a focused session where people also feel like their questions are being addressed. If someone from India got a chance of on-site in USA, will he be able to make it to get USA residency? I guess this is more into immigration stuff.
Immigration
So
questions.
Bhavesh, there is a channel called, actually the channel name is UDJ. If you have not checked out yet, I'm pretty sure you probably are a subscriber of UDJ. He talks about immigration a lot, and he talks to a lawyer, and these are questions that are better answered by a lawyer, in my opinion. So please check out UD's channel and see if you can get an answer on these. Oh wow, there are so many people. Thanks for such a great live session. Thank you, Nisar, Pradnesh, Garv, Advait, Adil, Souvik, Aditya, Manak, everyone who joined basically. But thanks a lot, Devpriya, for doing this.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity, Abhinav.
And hopefully we will do more.
Subscribe to Abhinav's channel, please. He does this takes a lot of work. Trust me. He was up 7:30 California time on a Sunday. So
6:30
kudos to that.
because I had
Six
to.
thirty. 7:30 we had to start. See,
Yeah.
6:30. So yeah, there is it encourages him to do more of it, and we would also want to help as much as possible. Like when you're starting, I know it's difficult when you're starting new. So subscribe to his channel.
And is it okay for people to reach out to you on LinkedIn? Like, can I
Yeah,
put your LinkedIn
feel
profile in
free.
the
Yeah,
description?
definitely. Definitely.
Well, cool. Perfect. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I'll stay for a bit because the live stream ends abruptly, but thanks for joining. And we will end the live stream here exactly at 2 hours point. Okay, I'm just waiting so that I do not cut it out abruptly. I'm announcing this is the end. Uh, okay, cool. I'll end it now because I still see people who are watching this. I do not know if they are new or
Probably. Probably.
okay. I'll just hit end.
Yeah.